Event 4 of the Challenge Tour season brings us to Alava Province in Spain, where Izki Golf plays host to the Challenge de España. Grey skies and light rain greeted the field on the opening morning, a cold and windy day in store. Paired together in one of the early groups, the two most recent winners on tour, Kim Koivu and JB Hansen, champions in China and Turkey respectively. It was the Finn who began the brighter of the pair, this long birdie putt finding its way home. Though in truth, neither set the morning alight. Ahead at the 18th, Joel Sjöholm set the clubhouse lead at 2 under par, closing his account for the day with back-to-back birdies. Fellow Swede Oscar Lengden went one lower, carding an opening 69. And it could have been better still had he not finished with double bogey. Among those to match Lengden's tally was Julien Ken. This approach to the par 4 7th leading to one of 4 birdies for the Frenchman. Italy's Enrico Di Nito was another to go 3 under. And he did it in some style. This his birdie putt at the last. Only 3 men went better, and Adrian Meronk was one of them. The Pole, seen here saving par at the 9th hole, carded 7 birdies and 2 bogeys, en route to a 5 under par total. Come close of play, it would prove good enough for a share of 2nd, behind Cormac Sharvin. The Ulsterman had 6 birdies to his name by the time he reached the 9th, his final hole. He may have misjudged the tee shot somewhat, but made no mistake from behind the green. One of the shots of the day securing him an opening 65 and a very healthy 2-stroke lead over the field. The highest placed of the home contingent was Jacobo Pastor, and at 4 under par he's certain to enjoy a strong following tomorrow morning. But it's a Northern Irishman who leads the way after day 1 at the Challenge de España. Friday morning in northern Spain, not that you'd know it by the weather. Another bitterly cold and gusty day in store for round 2 of the Challenge de España. Among those to fall foul of conditions was overnight leader Cormac Sharvin. The Ulsterman wayward off the tee, and failing to repeat his putting heroics of Thursday. 7 under yesterday, 3 over today. One man not struggling on the greens was Romain Langasque of France. This his birdie attempt from distance at the 9th, his final hole of the day. 3 under his tally and up into a share of 12th place. 5 men sit tied in 7th, Niklas Lemke among them. The Swede, here approaching the par 4 7th, carded 4 birdies and a bogey in one of the better rounds of the day. He trails compatriot Oscar Lengden by 2. The latter's 2nd straight 69 could have been better still had this dropped at the last. He'd settle for a share of 3rd though alongside Matt Ford and Nikolai von Dellinghausen. 1 stroke better off on Friday night is Adrian Meronk. Seen here setting up a birdie 3 at the 15th, the big Pole had a colourful day to say the least. 1 eagle, 5 birdies, 8 pars, 3 bogeys and a double. But the man to beat at the halfway stage here at Izki Golf is Julien Brun, the Frenchman with 8 birdies on the day, the last of which came here on his penultimate hole, the par 5/8. On in 2, and though he missed the ensuing eagle putt, he made no mistake on the way back. a round of 66 for a 9-under total and a 2-stroke lead. Will Besseling came through the field late, moving to 6th place alone on -5, while Jack Senior and Joel Schoholm round out the top 10. But it's Brun by 2 at the Challenge de España. Saturday morning at the Challenge de España, and the sun was out for the first time this week. Benign conditions and crowds on show at Izki Golf Club. The overnight lead belonged to Julien Brun, the Frenchman setting off on 9-under par and in search of a second career Challenge Tour title. But ahead, a pair of Swedes were making the early running. This pinpoint approach to the short par 4 first, setting Niklas Lemke up for birdie. His compatriot Joel Schoholm came out the blocks quicker still. Birdies at the first, second and third preceded this at the par 4 fifth. He'd make no mistake with the putt and go on to secure a share of 5th place. Alongside Lemke and England's Ross McGowan come close of play. Up at 18, Christian Breunig was adding the finishing flourish to a flawless 66. This the last of 6 birdies that catapulted him very much into the mix on moving day. As for Julien Brun, it was a steady if not spectacular front 9, here chipping to set up par at the 8th. 3 birdies were outweighed by 4 bogeys on the way home though, meaning he'd end the day alongside Breunig on 9-under par. Chief beneficiaries were Will Besseling and Oscar Lengden, though both more than earned their position atop the leaderboard. Lengden's 68 was ignited by 3 straight birdies from the 13th. While Besseling's 67 included 6 birdies and just a single dropped shot. Round of the day came courtesy of Thomas Santos Silva, a 7-under par 65 that vaulted the Portuguese into contention. And with conditions set to improve further tomorrow, the stage is set for a scintillating conclusion to the Challenge de España. Sunday morning in northern Spain, and conditions couldn't have been better for round 4 of the Challenge de España. Warm and sunny with just the gentlest of breezes. Germany's Christian Breunig had earned his place in the final group with a stunning 66 yesterday, and he'd resume on 9-under par, one behind joint leaders Will Besseling and Oscar Lengden. It was the latter who drew first blood, holing out from 12 feet for birdie at the opening hole to move 1 clear. The deficit would have quickly been doubled had the Dutchman not produced this moment of magic at the par 4 second. He'd hole out for par and remain in touch. Lengden had to wait a further 3 holes to extend his advantage. The Swede's approach to the par 4 fifth, soaring high over the trees and finding the heart of the green. It set up a 12-foot birdie chance, from which he made no mistake. He promptly gave it back at the very next hole, however, and come the par 5 8th, it was all change. Having found trouble from the fairway, Lengden had to watch on as Besseling got up and down from the greenside rough for birdie. The Dutchman briefly led after a Lengden bogey at 9, but ahead at the 12th, a new name entered the conversation, Ross McGowan, with 3 birdies on the bounce from the turn. But Lengden wasn't done, far from it, the Swede gaining strokes at 12 and 13, before this fantastic approach into 15 set him up for yet another. Standing confidently over the putt, there was only ever going to be one result. Another birdie would follow at the par 3's 17th, meaning he'd hold a 3-shot cushion coming up the last. One hand on his second career Challenge Tour title, and he finished it off in some style. Elsewhere, Philip Miao and Robin COC Greast earned a spot in the top 10, both shooting 68 on Sunday. A score matched by Michael Hoey in 5th. But it is Oscar who reigns supreme in Spain.